Howdy.
Hi, Vince.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi, Let.
I did.
Huh, very good. Hi, Anton. Declan, good to see you. And thank you for the Substack subscribe. That was great.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm laughing, Vince. Can I say publicly? 'Cause I clicked on the free one and I thought, no, you owe this guy a subscribe. That's really funny you said that. I've forgotten.
I'm always clicking on the free one.
You know that automatic. Oh, it's free.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No, thank you very much. Oh, Paul.
Hello, Ben.
Good to see you, mate. Yeah.
Good to
Maya. I see you tried to log in a couple of hours ago, Maya.
I'm
yeah,
completely
I'm
confused with the
phone.
time.
Trying to see if the phone works.
So, Anton, tell us where you're up to on this journey.
Okay.
Good question. You tell me.
I was asking Anton. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, Paul. I know I know that we don't know where you're up to. Anton's a new face. I just don't know what he's seen or hasn't seen so far.
Right, and I can't see all the participants on my phone. I can only see me and you.
Oh, okay. If you swipe left or right, you might get the gallery view.
No. Ah, that's it. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So, hello to everyone. It's an interesting inquiry because it's understood that there is no journey, and with that said, there is issues with trauma and reactivity in some situations. So, from one hand, I really loved the idea that I am not here to do anything, and it's much more relaxing for the system. But I cannot avoid the reactivity that inside the system, and so I see clearly, but the physical state is not there. It's reacting, it's a lot of sensations, and feelings of stuckness sometimes, but it's all here.
Yep.
It's all here, and so my journey was like in some periods of time I was just resting all the time, not trying to change anything, not trying to improve or anything. But when something happens that I see that I don't like the reactivity that I feel that like something is not complete.
Yes.
I cannot feel like this is what happening, but my the desire to change it is also happening.
Yes.
So I found the Petter's system, and I
Yes.
looked to work with the 4th and 5, and I started in the awakening curriculum, and Pernil said that it would be best to start from the beginning. So I started from the first fetter. I end all the lessons on the first fetter, and I did not felt that I need to look at it again, and I begin with the second fetter, and in the second fetter I see that that's a lot of job because of the trauma, and like I see there are the doubts, but not about what's real and what's not. The doubts is about relationships, to drink the this or that, to go here and there, because there is a lot of fear, anger, shame, and stuff like this that inside the system. So I see that it's all it. I see that there is no like what's important is what I do not see in the specific situations, in the
Yep.
moment, in the feelings. So yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm going through the second fetter lessons for the second time, because I felt it's not enough. I want to.
Right. Okay. Yep. So I get where you're up to now. Yeah. Yep. So how do you feel about that? There's more work to do.
Well, sometimes I have some resistance inside, like to that idea, even. But this is what happens, and when I feel that it's too much, then I relax and I understand that I'm not controlling it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just happening as it is. So when I'm interested, I'm watching it, listening, trying to imply, understand, and with the understanding that it's not really happening this way, but this is how it's felt, and this
Yeah.
is how it is.
Yeah. I get that. So I hear what I imagine is a contradiction, and that is that I hear two things that seem to be don't quite live together, and one of them is that you accept that you don't have control of things and things just happen, and the other one is you're working to get there.
Yes, and this is the sweet spot, like the the sense is, there is still a sense of me in the system, but when I look, it's only sensations
Yes.
and
Yeah.
thoughts. But
Yep.
but when I'm in the flow of life, those sensations and thoughts making it seems like something is there, like someone is there. But when I look, it's only sensations and thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you
And
reached the
some,
point? Have you reached the point where you don't bother to look anymore because you know what you're going to find or not find?
yeah, I'm not asking like who am I anymore,
Yeah.
because
You know that. Yeah.
when I ask, it's always the same non
Yeah. Yeah. It's not there. Yeah. That's right.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. So what if I told you that from I imagine that these things are going to keep happening to you for the rest of your life. No matter how awake you are, you're still going to get triggered. Things will still happen. What if I said that? What's your reaction to that?
it does not mean anything,
Well,
really.
doesn't surprise you?
I don't know. Like the only thing which is not a thing that is you saying it to me. But there is no future like
Right.
for it.
Yep. So why are you looking? Why are you here?
I'm here to connect, to hear feedback, maybe to see new people. I'm not connecting a lot in my life because of the trauma, and it's more like, why not?
Yeah. Okay, good. I like that. Good answer. Yeah. Yeah.
And physically, it's sometimes a lot, sensations and pains, and so I'm not. And sometimes when the sensations is like high, there is a seeking for relief, like
Yes.
somehow. But I go back to the experience itself, and it's no more a
Yeah.
big drama for me. Any
Yeah. Yeah.
sensation, any happening, but there is still the seeking for relief sometimes, for an experience that is not here. And yes,
Yeah. So we could have a preference. I imagine that there's a natural bodily preference towards feeling pleasure and
yes,
away from feeling pain. And so we just there's always a a balance, looking for a balance between that. So we want to. That's just a natural bodily preference. How do you what's your level of acceptance when these things turn up? Do you feel okay? They're just there, and well, that's it, or do you
there
go?
is a layer of reactivity that can happen, and then I accept the reactivity, which is
Yes,
not really me accepting
yes,
something, but yeah.
yeah, recognizing that that's what it is. Yeah, I get it.
Yes,
Good.
but
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, it sounds like you're in a pretty good place. Yeah,
and it's a lot still of rage sometimes,
right.
rage, even hate. sometimes
Right.
that I just feel. Yeah. So it's I feel that in this area it's still like it's not yet
Yes.
understood on the felt level. There is a small child that's afraid, and there is a system to defend with
Yeah.
rage and with making things as I see right for this child to be safe, but it's locked.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see that as being associated with past trauma?
Yeah, surely,
Mm.
of course. Yeah, yes. Childhood. It's
Yeah.
I more or less I understand from where it's coming. Maybe not in like specific details, but I
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
understand them.
And do you have a feeling that this somehow needs to get out in order for it not to have the consequences that it does? Do you feel that it needs to be
Well,
released or expunged or expelled
there
or yeah?
there is a desire for for the feelings experience to be in line with the understanding. Yeah,
Mm.
like I'm not in some kind of rush or something, but I'm trying to do things that I believe that you know
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
that can help.
Sure. Well, hopefully we'll a lot of things will come up that you might resonate with that will be helpful. Yeah. I'm glad you're here. I feel that this is a good place for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So because you're new, I'll just run through a couple of things too, and that is that absolutely informal here. No rules, no nothing. If you've got something to say, just jump in and say it. Come late, leave early. That's fine. You don't have to say goodbye. You don't have to say hello when you turn up. Just be relaxed. Do whatever happens. Yeah. Be authentic and spontaneous. That's what I want.
I'm sorry, I'm
That's
at
all right.
work right now. So
Mm. Yep. If you've got to do something, you just do it. No problem. Yeah. So if I go quiet, I'm enjoying the silence. It's always a good opportunity for everybody to look at what goes on in their head. If there's silence, mind often gets pretty active then. Um, but I'm also waiting for somebody to say something, and if nobody says anything after a while, I'll ask somebody how they're going. So, yeah, there you go.
How are you going, Vince?
I'm good. I'm everything. Hmm. How about you, Lorraine?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in a nice flow state at the minute, which is really enjoyable. Mm.
Hmm.
I'd like to share something. Um, I've I've been kind of physical health, pretty poor health the past since about the end of January. Been getting a lot of chest infections, and I've been diagnosed with COPD, like a kind of a lung disease from years of smoking roll-ups and general abuse. I stopped smoking tobacco about it was 2012, and I found it really, like really hard. Like not just difficult, but really like seriously, kind of very kind of core addiction, like all emotional stuff. And I think there's still shadows there from even that attempt. And about 6 months after that, I'd managed a few months, and then I was like nicotine replacement stuff. Anyway, I started vaping, like electronic, and I've done that the past, what's that, 12 years, 13 years. Anyway, I saw a doctor here in Istanbul yesterday, a chest specialist, and we did a scan and went through a few things, and it's quite not brutal, but it's probably quite a Turkish way. But he said, well, he said, I'd say you've got about 10 years if you stop vaping now. If you don't stop vaping, you're not going to last more than, I think he said 2 to 4 years. And I was like, oh, okay. The weird, the strange thing is, I got very tearful afterwards, and today as well. But it's not about somebody putting a figure on whatever they think my life expectancy is. It's almost like that's just, ooh, you know, I'm hoping to be. I don't know. I'm 62 in July, and I kind of always thought about 80. Life sounded about right. Well, that's complete fabrication. I don't know where that's come from, but it's sometime in the future, you know. Whereas 10 years feels a bit, oh, okay. 2 years feels, oh, no. But it's not about that. It's the thought of having to stop vaping. And it fills me with like dread and I say horror. I don't think that's too strong a word. And it's funny. I was listening to yourself and Lorraine this morning. The whatever video you put up, Vince, about awakening. I was like in the gym, and I was like, really in this lovely flow state, and just really enjoyed it, by the way. It's kind of, yeah. And then about an hour ago, I was talking to my friend guide, Alan, and another guy, Tom. And I was just telling them what I'm telling you now, and the feeling of whatever the sensation is when I feel like I have to put down the nicotine was just overwhelming. And Alan was trying to get me to describe it and sit with it. And I don't know, I was going to say like, I can't, it's too much. It's almost like, it sounds dramatic, but it's hard to put words around some of this stuff. It's almost like I'd rather be dead and just finish me off. If you're going to take that, it's like you know, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do this. If you take that away, then it's just me kind of naked in the raw, and that's it feels like really core. It feels like whatever shadow is there for me, it's kind of revealing itself. And I really don't like it. And yeah, and it's funny. Vince kind of, sorry, not your Vince, Alan kind of helped me through some of it, just feeling the sensation. And the sensation is just a constriction, you know, feeling like a pressing on the chest, or yeah, like a feeling of, but it is the mental stuff with it, or emotional. I don't know which is which is, yeah, just feel it felt overwhelming in that moment. It feels overwhelming. And yeah, I wasn't kind of expecting that.
Well, the surprise is a bit of a blowout, isn't it? But
yeah, it's like, oh, come on, I've done all this work, I've done this, I've done that. You mean I've got to face this now?
Yeah.
Bastard.
So this is the story that's come up here, and I want you to tell me your response to it. That you've been really successfully using the nicotine to keep that monster under the bed.
That's it in a nutshell. That's it, exactly.
Yep.
And it's almost like I kind of knew that, Vince, but it was convenient just to ignore it. Yeah.
Well, it was so easy to do too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it worked so well. Being very
I'd
successful.
literally be on this call, Vince, and I have the vape kind of behind the screen there. So whenever I did feel that discomfort, you know, just have a little toke, and that's that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell, Vince. And I think I don't know if I am even willing to look at it. You know, it's
No.
I am,
All right.
because
So keep vaping, and if you're going to die in 2 years, that doesn't matter, does it? Really? 2 years or 10 years, what's the difference?
Yeah, that's honestly, it's kind of like that's how I react to that. It's just, I mean, I know that's childish, but
Let's not put a judgment on it.
Yeah, but it's more kind of, it's more like, no, I need to know what the monster is. I need to know.
Oh, you're going to be really disappointed when you find that monster. You realize it's pretty much just a ball of dust. It's nothing there at all. But until you look at it, it's huge. It's a big black bear that could come out and do you serious damage, eh?
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, it's so that I don't even want to look at it. I don't. Yeah, it's just fuck that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty normal. Yeah. And you've found a really efficient way to keep it away.
Mm, mm,
It's just going to cost you your life to keep
mm,
doing it.
mm,
Yeah. This is weird. Why? I mean, I'm finding it a bit funny, and that's just not
mm.
an appropriate social reaction, is it?
No, it's not. No, you're supposed to be sympathetic.
Uh,
You're not supposed to giggle.
uh,
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
yeah,
I know that's like kind of logical me because I always say this like I haven't seen through the self and whatnot, and it's true, but I think I've done. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, um, like logically, I know that whatever it is will be uncomfortable at the most. You know, I might like if whew, big cries or whatever. It won't be
yeah, yeah.
overwhelming.
And you know
Feel.
it'll be only temporary as well.
I think that's part of it, Vince. I think that's where my clever little brain or ego or thought has kind of is tricking me into thinking that it will be permanent until I go back to nicotine in whatever way that you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I think that's part of the fear, like of how
yeah,
long that will last and or how you know like their
yeah,
willpower. Can I cope with that? Can I cope with that darkness? And I just feel really tired right now. Just really tired. I
yeah,
just feel,
yeah. Well, that's another good strategy that helps to do that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Look, I must tell you, I know about giving up smoking. I gave up smoking several times.
Mm,
Um, and I once gave it up for 2 years and took it up again.
mm,
You know, I struggled to give it up and give it up and give it up. So,
yeah.
you know, but that all happened for me back in 1980. So it was a long time ago. And
Mm,
now I find when I can walk into the same room as somebody who's a smoker, they're not actually smoking, and I
mm,
can smell it, and it's disgusting. I really
mm,
don't like the smell of it. But you know,
mm.
so yeah, you go from one to the other as well. Because oh, my cigarettes were so important to me. Yeah, I do know about that, and I also know about something else you talk about, and that is, well, you're getting old. You're not getting old. I wouldn't mind being your age again. Um, but you
Not
know,
many people say that.
the closer you get to 80, the younger 80 seems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that's happened with each one, when they're
Yeah,
40, 50, 60, and I'm sure it'll be the same for 70. Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
I'm not 70. But yeah, it's just really shocked me, Vince, that it felt so overwhelmed. I think it's just that realization that you said, Vince, is like, oh, you've squished it down. You have
yeah.
been squished down all the time. You thought you were opening up and face. I mean, and I have,
You
like
have for
face
sure. Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But there's been this
You wouldn't
hidden.
even be here like this if you hadn't already
No,
done a lot of the
no,
work. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vince.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's
Oh,
going
well,
to
there's no
say,
need to
but
thank me.
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there is this the next monster is there and doesn't want to be.
Well, yeah, yeah. So there's one way to look at it, and that is to say, well, will I or won't I? But the other way to look at it, that's much more real to me, is that you are, you have started to look at it.
Mm,
There's big change going on in you right now as a result of this,
mm,
and that's going to reveal stuff that you didn't even know was there.
mm,
So again, it's not like you have got to make a decision.
mm.
Decisions happen, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think like last night and the early morning, so I was just like, no, you'll be back in the UK in the summer, like see your doctor, get some nicotine patches, like kind of whatever will be, you'll deal with it. You'll just deal
Yeah.
with it. You deal with it. And then there was something about being on this call with Tom and Alan that I just kind of felt this.
There
Whoa,
was
no,
big
I'm
change
not
there.
dealing
Yeah.
with that. I'm not dealing with that. No way, no way. Yeah, it was quite shocking. Yeah,
But you don't have to deal with it. Dealing with it will happen or not.
yeah,
It depends
yeah,
on lots and lots of circumstances, what actually
yeah,
does happen, or how it gets dealt with, or whatever.
yeah. It's so true. I've turned it into like, right, okay, this is the next Herculean
Yeah.
task, and you got to start
Yeah.
going into the
And
wheel
it
now,
isn't. That's
baby.
right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's so true, Vince. It's so true. And it's like, I know in an hour's time I'll just be what?
And I tell you what, every time you put your hand on that vape, now you're going to feel
Mm.
different to what you've ever felt
I
any
just
other time
I
that you've
went,
done it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
left it. It's in the bedroom, and I just had a quick toke before I came on the call, and it was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you got some.
It'll even start to taste different, I'll bet.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vin. Yeah, yeah. And just to say, it was lovely to listen to you, Anton, and what you had to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Declan.
Hey, Marius, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, I just want to kind of drive home that last point with what Vin said is that, you know, you can kind of, it's understandable that the mind kind of creates this whole big scenario of having to deal with this and how hard it's going to be and all of that. But just to share from a health experience for myself, I had a blood clot a few years ago, and I just found that just because something had threatened my life in such a direct way, um, the habits and the ways of thinking, like Vin says, how the vape is going to start to not feel correct, and you're kind of going to make different choices. Not really something you purposely do now from this kind of panicky state, but something that's going to unfold naturally. So while your reaction is totally normal, I'm pretty sure that your system is kind of going to take care of that. So you can kind of sit back and enjoy the ride.
Oh, thanks, Marius. That was beautiful. Thanks, mate. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
And something that comes to mind is that people that
Mm.
have a near-death experience, and it sounds a bit weird to describe that as a near-death experience, but you did just have a
Mm.
near-death experience.
Mm.
You know, you for a moment, you were faced with your mortality, and that's a near-death
Yeah.
experience.
Mm.
People who have experienced that, they get a lot more out of life than they did before that happened.
It, something I semi-forgotten, Vince, what feel quite profound was I was just digesting what the doc had said yesterday evening, and I spent X number of years or time in my life wishing not to be here. Is the truth. In the darkest times, in the
Mm, mm,
darkest, and couldn't give you a figure, but I know that feeling, let's
mm,
say. And it was really, should I say beautiful, but it was revealing that the thought that, oh, like someone's put a time limit, however arbitrary that, that it is, that it was really beautiful to kind of think, oh, I don't want to go just yet.
Right,
That was,
there you
that's
go.
really comforting, really kind of like, oh, that's different. Yeah, okay.
Mm,
No, I don't want to go yet. No. I want to see what happens next.
right, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite
So you could even
beautiful.
say you didn't realise how much you were enjoying being alive.
Yeah. Like that, you were saying that it's not exactly a near-death experience, but just that. Okay, well, you're going to be shuffling off this mortal coil in a couple. Well, no, not just yet. No.
Mm.
It's yeah.
Well, I
I
would have to
think
say, yeah, go. Sorry, Lorraine, you go.
no. I was just going to say, and I don't know your story, Declan, but it sounds as if that deep fear and panic comes from a previous memory of how you reacted many moons ago when you were a different person trying to give up. It sounds as if you've done a lot more opening and working to approach the addiction from the new, more open you. Can be a very different experience to the back then terrifying experience. That's just a memory that could be triggering the fear. It might be not like that from who you are now.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you. I think that was my hope. That was my and also kind of like a little story I told myself that I'm a different person now. You're older and wiser. So I think when I got that feeling of the horror, I thought, oh God, no! You're back to childhood or early adolescence or whatever like that. That's that is still there. I'm sure it is something there, but yeah, being able to kind of maybe look at that or hold my own hand there or give myself a hug there and not have to run away might be a really nice, a really profound change. Thanks, Lorraine.
Yeah, I haven't known you for that long, but I like what I know. But anyway, I have no doubt that you're a really different person to what you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Totally different
Mm.
for
Yeah,
whatever reason. Yeah.
yeah.
The other thing that comes up for me, so you triggered all this stuff in me now. And so one of the things that happened for me is that, I turned 78 this year, and I
No,
start to think to myself, well, that's only 2 years before I'm 80, and I've outlived what a lot of people do. A lot of people die before they get to their 80s.
yeah,
Now, my mum was 88 when she died. So does that mean I've only got 10 years left? If I've got 10
mm,
years seems like a finite amount before I actually die of old age or whatever I'm going to die of.
mm.
But of course, I could get run over tomorrow. Who knows? But there is that. There is that. At how old do you have to get before you start recognizing your mortality?
Yeah,
That's a really interesting. It's all right for all you young people. You think it's going to be forever. It's a long way away. But I tell you what, it goes a lot faster than you think. When you're looking back is a lot shorter than looking forward. Yeah.
don't tell them it speeds up as well, Vince.
I
Yeah.
have to say that you look much younger than you
Ah, well,
I knew. I thought you were talking to me. I took that as me. I was going to say, "Oh, you're a really nice guy." Yeah, you do, Vince. You really
no,
do.
it was me he was talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. What would that? This is crazy. I'm just going to say it, and then I'm going to mute the mic. But imagine if we all had a little figure in the bottom right of the screen telling us how long was left. Like how differently we'd behave, or would we do anything differently? Because it's so arbitrary, isn't it, Vince? Like, you know,
Absolutely,
just
yes.
keel over at any point and any time, and people do, you know. It's but yeah, and there's all those, you know, those kind of live each day as if it were your last, and I think, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, it's just
You be my
words, isn't it?
friend.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's just words. But when you actually feel it, it's like, whoa, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Declan.
Actually, there is something that I would like to expose, I would say. There is a desire that comes up in me lately, and in a way, I need like to say it now. I feel a bit ashamed of it, even like the desire to start speaking about it, and with the understanding that I'm not uh, like I'm not feeling ready in the system, and I'm not feeling that there is really a need to do it, even like there is no, but it's arising. And sometimes I'm even recording something, and then I just delete it, or just it's remained on the phone. But and I spoke about it with two people, and they said, if you feel drawn to it, then start doing it. Like, why not? And I'm like there is something not maybe like something in me that is not absolutely relaxed with it. Like I am, but not absolutely. Like I'm not thinking about it a lot, but it's arising sometimes, and I'm not doing it, and I'm okay with it. But like I would like to hear some feedback, just maybe some.
I can share some, just I can resonate with that. I've been going through my own personal exploration with that, and I found myself I was uncomfortable with sharing, and I didn't know what the uncomfortableness was. And then I realized that was because, and my journey might not be the same as yours, but mine was coming from a desire to be seen or a desire to be of value. And that's why I was feeling uneasy about it, because I knew subconsciously that it was coming from more from a wound rather than from overflow. And so that just took me into a deeper level of just understanding where that desire was coming from, until I've now reached a place where when I'm sharing, it's coming from no attachment to an outcome, and it is overflow, and it doesn't feel uneasy anymore. But my uneasiness came before because yet it was coming from a wound of a need to be seen and be of value rather than an overflow of sharing with no attachment, if that makes sense.
Yes, it's really making sense, and it's on the point. Like I feel when you spoke, I felt that in me it's like it's a mix of both. It's there is an overflow. Like sometimes I'm not speaking about it with anyone, and it's the only thing that I'm interested in. So there is something just that just wants to share, but there is this inner child, like something that wants to be seen, and as you described, it's really yes.
I think for me it was just about when I could recognize that, I was just, okay, so that's arising, and then when you notice it from that's arising, it's not me, and in a space of, you know, holding that in a space of compassion and allowing it to arise and allowing it to rise. And again, when I could see it was arising, then you can disassociate it from because it's just happening. It's not, there's no attachment to being mine. But it took me a wee while. It took me a wee while to navigate that, and just be there for it.
Thank you. Really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I can also share a bit from my perspective on that. I'm a bit loud in these meetings sometimes, and the reason why is also I recognize also a similar wound in me, but you know what I've come to see over time, because I've been aware of it for a while, is that it feels really uncomfortable when I slip into some kind of identification around it. So if there's if I catch myself wanting to produce feedback that just doesn't come spontaneously, that feels really uncomfortable. And for me, through going through this, this process is kind of dialing me into, that happening less and less. So I think if that is something that you want to do, if it comes from, even if it's kind of not 100% clean yet, I think that will happen anyways. And there's a process, a natural process that will unfold where you kind of probably do end up coming from identification, but that's also the way through that problem, I think. So just be very honest with yourself and really notice what's happening inside when you're sharing something. It's my 2 cents on that.
Yes, and for example, 2 days ago I recorded something, and then I sat and felt inside the system what is the reaction to the speaking was like really spontaneous, and I felt right speaking, but then the idea that someone will see it triggers a lot of sensations and reactions. So, and I sat with it, and then it's went away, and of course I did not publish it, and yes, like this is how I feel it, that I'm just, when I have this desire, so I just feel it. And sometimes I even record. Usually I am not. And the last time that I recorded, the things that I said, I was inquiring them myself. Like it was opening even for me, because it's not really me speaking. So it's so it's interesting process. I'm just feeling it and not doing anything with it, because I know that there is a lot of emotional stuff that is connected to how people see me and, well, people like me and stuff like this. So I really not feel ready, but the process that I'm experiencing is by itself is interesting and joyful. Like so.
Excellent. So there's several things that come up here. One is the way it is when you just know something's in there. Then there is the expression of that to yourself when you record it and you're the only one that's seeing it. And then there is the idea that if somebody else sees it, and that changes the way you feel about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then as you come to a meeting like this and you say it and other people do see it, and that changes things again, because then you get feedback from other people and so on. So it's the really interesting part about it is all of this is about identification. It is the way you see yourself. It is you constructing a self.
Yes, of course. And every time that it's happening, that I'm constructing a self, it feels like harsh inside. So
Yes, it is harsh. It's a contraction, isn't it?
yes, yes. But now with the idea that I have about reactivity, I'm not I'm trying less and less to avoid those sensations, and sometimes even to push some things just to feel them a bit more.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we play with the edge all the time. Yes.
Yes.
It's funny. I watched a video of myself talking today, and there was definitely identification happening as I watched that. But when I was doing the talking originally, there was no identification. There's no sense of how they're going to see me, what they're going to say, what do I look like. None of that occurs at all. But when I watch myself doing it, oh boy, it comes back pretty big, pretty big. Yeah, really interesting, that one. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the like the years of meditating and inquiring, I was doing it all like alone and without connecting with people. I did not like, because there is a lot of childhood trauma about connecting with people. So it was like, in a way, it was as an escape in the beginning, and then love.
Yeah, great.
But now I feel that maybe a bit more to connect with people can be good, can
Yeah,
do
great.
benefit.
Yeah, one of the really great things about these groups is that there's no obvious judgment or opinions about what comes out. So it's kind of pretty easy to be spontaneous once that's accepted.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that the only judgment that can come is from inside, like the,
Yep, absolutely. How's life been for you, Maya? Busy, busy, I guess.
Yes, I would. I expect you to say that I'm in a good place. I'm in a brilliant place. Completely exhausted, confused, at my wit's end. I hope we found a place to live, and it was really stressful. We weren't sure if we're going to rent or buy something small or this or that, and running, viewing. So it was a lot of work, but I think it's over now. We found something and we'll rent something. So this part of the stress is over. Well, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's always something going on and a lot of emotions, and it's hard. It's difficult. I'm tired, but I'm present a lot of the time. So I'm able to recognize, oh, now there are thoughts coming. Okay, these are thoughts. I don't have to believe them. And there's an emotion. How does it feel? Where is it in the body? Okay, I use my tools and this is okay. But there's also a kind of disappointment that it doesn't go further than that. I did have one moment some 2 weeks ago where I was really looking at thoughts, and I'm still playing with this thing that I watch thoughts coming and me not being responsible. They come by themselves. And I was watching one. I don't know. Do you call it earworm in English as well?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Germans. Yeah. Okay. This was so clearly the case that the thoughts are not mine, because I would rather not have one in my head.
Yeah.
It's very persistent, you know.
One of
And
those ones that goes
okay,
round and around and around.
yeah. And I was thinking now I really do see that the thoughts are not mine. Okay. And that was it. And then a few hours later, I was sitting on the train again, looking at some thoughts and seeing that they're not mine. And at one moment, there was a recognition: they're really not mine. I'm helpless. I'm helpless in front of all the thoughts and everything that happens. And this helplessness led to another thought, which was recognition, actually. I'm helpless and I can really sit back and relax because I cannot do anything. And then came the thought, ha ha ha, how long will this last? This was the end.
Yeah. Oh, dear. You gave me an ice cream and then you took it back off me. Yeah.
And so now I'm waiting for it to come back. I'm not hopeful. I don't have too much hopes. But
Well,
that's where I am.
but you saw it. You saw that I'm helpless, and then it came, and now you're saying
Yeah.
you're not helpless anymore, but you are helpless, aren't you? If it comes back or
Yeah,
doesn't come
I
back
am.
is
I was
out of your
helpless.
hands. Yeah.
I was helpless in front of the thought, how long will this last? But
Yes.
still, it took me, and this was a funny moment.
Mm. Well, that humor is
Well,
really important. That humor is a recognition, a discovery.
yeah,
When you can
yeah.
laugh like that, that's great. Yeah. So all this looking for a new place to live, was that doing or was that just happening?
It was a lot of phone calls, a lot of appointments, a lot of having to get out of the house and sit in the car and drive. It's not me driving, but okay, this is happening for me. Driving is happening for me in the UK. I drive in Croatia. My husband is. The driving is happening for him in Croatia. Um, a lot of doing. I forget myself. I think it's contradicting what I'm saying now
Yeah. Well, that
because of,
happens. We forget until we don't, until
yeah,
we remember. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But remembering, but that moment of remembering is a really valuable moment
yeah,
to mark and highlight and
yeah.
appreciate. Yeah.
And there are many little moments of remembering. Many.
Mm.
It happens for me very often, many times in a day. So it just comes. It's a second
Yep.
nature now
Yeah.
to question things.
And I like to remind you that change is always happening. We can't not change. It's the nature of anything. Everything is always changing. But the change in us as people very frequently is about the same speed as grass growing. So it doesn't matter how close you sit and look at it, you
Mm,
can't see it happening. But when you go back a few days later and look, you can see a difference. And that's how we change as well.
yeah, yeah. So it's funny. I see some kind of tension. I'm looking forward for my classes to end, and it will be in 3 weeks. And after that, I'm happy that I will be able to attend more meetings here with us.
Mm.
It will be a bit calmer for me.
Yep. And I presume that you can see the trap in that promise of something in the future
Yes.
in order to feel better
It's a
now.
tension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's a tension. I can see everything. And I know I can just sit now and something will happen or nothing will happen.
Yep.
Yeah. I know everything. It just came for this split second and then went away.
It's a tease, isn't it? But it also shows you a possibility.
Really.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I'm so glad to see you, and I love it when your face lights up. You smile. It's just makes me feel so good all the time. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I love being here, and this is this tension for me, waiting for the classes to end, to have more of my time and to be here. There will be some things moving, mom sitting, my mom, to allow my dad to go away for a few weeks and so on. There will be things to do, but it will be easier.
Yeah. Mm.
I just wanted to say to Declan, actually, I do remember times when I wished I wasn't here, but then a moment came when, just as Marius said, the moment where it was really serious about me not being here anymore. But after now, I'm 6 years out of chemotherapy and 7 years after diagnosis. I forgot about it. But the thing is, the wish not to be here never came back. I mean, the whole cancer story is just a story for me. It's really just a story. I do see it as a story, and I'm annoyed by myself when I'm going through it again. I don't want to anymore. But the wish not to be here never came back. I want to be here. I'm grasping at life more than I see that now. More than anything else. It's funny, this thing also.
Yeah. That's an interesting one.
Mm.
I've no doubt, Declan, that your story made every one of us contact some appreciation we have for how good things are for us.
But this knowing remained with me that, okay, I didn't die of cancer, but the car can hit me tomorrow. So
Yes.
this stayed, this mortality, this stayed with me. But I would rather not the car to hit me tomorrow or today.
Yes. But if it does, let's just hope it does a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Glad you're here.
Well, I want to say that I came in here overloaded with anxiety and feelings of that I have to be responsible for some other people's sorrows or problems, and it felt so good to listen to you, Vince, when you said to Declan, you don't have to deal with it. It will happen. What will happen. And I felt, oh, because I'm actually 2 years after 80. And even then, I had yesterday, I was told that one of my friends, she's 84, but she was so healthy and vigorous, and suddenly she's been struck down with cancer all over and told that won't be long for her life. And I felt very, very unhappy for her, but I also felt anxiety for myself. And I felt also ashamed to feel anxiety, and I should know better. I've actually survived 2 quite serious attacks on my health and come out of it. Uh, so, uh, so it's been very helpful for me just to listen today to all the talk, and yes, and thank you for all the wise words. It's wonderful. It's a load off my shoulder.
Oh, thank you, Annie. That's beautiful, and it's I can relate to that. You know, when I feel more, I don't know what the word how to describe it, but I feel more emotional with other people's illnesses or whatever happens than I do with my own. My own don't matter almost, and yet I have a friend who has cancer and may not have long to live, and oh, it just cuts me up to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm. Yes, when you were saying you're a couple of years out of that, I had bowel cancer in 1997, so that's 28 years ago now. So it's like, wow, I can't even relate to that. It's so far in the past. Yeah.
mhm,
But I
yeah,
can remember that I got very depressed with chemotherapy, and I felt, yeah, I've got to stop this or I'm going to die, you know. I was so
mm,
depressed. Yeah.
yeah. It's
I have the
the
same. I mean, I saw other people getting treatment for other types of cancer and me getting for bowel cancer. I think it was really difficult. The heavy drugs, heavy
Mm.
drugs. So,
Yes. Yeah. Mm. It's not really about our mortality, is it? It's much more about our happiness or our which is related very much to our health and how much our health might impact on us and so on. Yeah. The
yes,
mortality
yes,
thing is like just a dream, really, isn't it?
yeah.
But I imagine, and I recognise it as just my own fantasy, but I've looked and looked and looked, and I imagine that, well, I don't mind when it happens. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. There's no escape. So whether it happens now or whether it happens tomorrow or whether it happens in 10 years' time, it's still going to happen. So no point in worrying about it. But that's a good story. That's just theory. Who knows what'll happen when I'm faced with it? That's another story.
yeah, exactly.
Where have you been, Scott? we're talking all this old people stuff here, and young you sitting there.
Don't put me in the club. Good. I was just kind of going over the death thing, and I was like, when I first started this, I was like, that was my ace in the hole. It's like, if I never wake up, right? Not realizing I was awake. If I never wake up, when my brain starts to shut down, my sense of self will just dissipate, and I'll know oneness like at least a second before I die. That was just like a story that I told myself. It's funny. I'm kind of like going through a process of letting go, and like it it feels a little bit like dental floss being pulled out of my mouth or through my fingers. Like it's amazing to me how many layers there can be in one concept. I don't know what to call it, but just like me letting go, right? The pit bull like had his teeth dug in, and I thought like I let it go, and then I realized no, I didn't. Obviously, there's more. So it's been like 2 or 3, 4 of these like impulses of kind of like letting things go. And like today, just this morning, I was like starting to see how like I feel like I'm just gonna stop consuming any stuff or like I'm not feeling drawn to it. So in the past, I would like push into it, and right now I'm like I kind of see how just the process. Okay, I'm gonna go consume some spirituality. When I go in there, it's like it gives me what I need to have a expectation or a perception of something that I don't have, something that's not here. Like so it always puts something else out there. It gives me like I can see, I don't have that, I don't have that there, that's not here, this isn't here. And it creates a sense of lack or sense of
Yeah,
otherness and out there-ness, and I need more of that. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I don't honestly going through the Feder work and listen to Pernella over and over and over. And the biggest thing is, they keep repeating, you're just not, you haven't done all the exercises, you haven't gone through this, you haven't done that, or do this or do that. And I'm like, it's no, each time it's just more, it's out there and I don't have it. Like, and some kind of experiment with just not consuming anything. And as I'm doing my like dirty work, not dirty work, I have some busy work that I do to make a little extra money, and it's mindless. So as I do it, the thoughts like come up, and I kind of do these like little inquiries while I'm doing this stuff. And I don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to not trying. I'm just gonna like take a ride, I guess. I don't know. I think
yeah, good
I have a hard
stuff.
time.
Good stuff. Okay, yeah. So you're my interpretation, my story about that is that you're right on the edge of this place where you recognize that put it, you're enough. You don't need the external to bulk you out, to fill you up, to make meaning out of anything. That you're enough. It's like I mean, part of it for me it was that's the point where I I don't need to watch a video or read anything because it's not that I know everything, it's that I don't need to know anything. There is that point of accepting that, you know what's going on for me now is a lot. It's very busy. I don't have room to go out there and read stuff or watch stuff. There's enough going on in here right now all the time to be complete with that. There's nothing missing. There's more will happen, for sure, more will happen, but it's not because there's a hole here. It's just because that's the way things evolve. That was a bit, it sounded to me like it was a bit ill-defined, but, do you get a feel for what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know, for me, like, it's just feeling like if I follow the purpose, to follow the path and consume more spirituality, it seems like it just creates a wall.
Yep,
It can't be
absolutely.
penetrated. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, your backpack's full. You don't need anything more.
Sounds good. Um, the like self-criticism, or I'm not even sure it's self-criticism. Like, kind of like the view of any, like, let's say for instance, I realize I'm having anger. I realize that's one of the emotional indicators, right? So boom, boom, instant judgment that there was anger there. I'm not even sure if I'm judging a self. Just like, oh, that's a negative, that's anger. Instead of like welcoming it, or like realizing, oh, it's just one of those thoughts coming through, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just like mind candy. I've had a couple times where like I was going, using that kind of framework, and oh yeah, and it kind of felt really good, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, like a mind tickle. I know it sounds weird, but just like being able to have a thought, and like, I guess it's because like the habit of like judging it like is really quick, and then realizing, oh yeah, that's right, it doesn't matter, and have a few seconds of like this like strange feeling in my head, I
Mm,
guess. I think that's where it was. It was strange.
yeah,
But
yeah, that's the
so
discovery stuff, discovering things. Yeah. So anger's here. Isn't that interesting? Oh, what? It's gone already. It's just like the breeze hits your face when you walk outside.
interesting thing though, it would be very easy for me to start looking for every instance of an emotional indicator, and then purposely do this procedure where I go,
Yes, yes.
oh no, that's not. I could so easily fall into that.
Well, yeah, well, stop calling them emotional indicators.
Oh, I'm just trying to communicate. Like, I know you knew what they
Yeah,
were.
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, as soon as you say emotional indicator, hanging off that is a whole lot of work to be done.
Yeah, it brings you back into the better work.
Don't even call them emotions. Don't label them. As soon as you label them, you create something. You just go, oh, look, this is here. Isn't that interesting? I'm curious. What does it feel like? And by that time, it's changed.
I mean, a lot of this stuff has to do with the ability to communicate. Like, I look at an emotion like it's not a real thing, because the way I figure it, if it's sensations mixed with thought, thoughts aren't real, so emotions aren't real. The way I look at it, I mean, it's just the way I view it. So anytime I think of, if I look at an emotion that feels real, it's like just a false, perception.
Mm, mm. Yeah, well, emotion isn't real. Emotion does take it into something different to what is actually there. So if you look beneath the label of emotion, then you discover that there is a changing sensation and stories. But emotion is just a concept that we use to describe those things. But we can easily get into the mistake of thinking that an emotion is a thing. But really, there's just a happening, an experience.
Letting go is like there's a fear of letting go because it's fear everywhere. It seems like, but letting go is like there's a fear of just like, oh, I'm gonna fall back down into the hole. Doesn't happen.
No.
It's like you think you're gonna forget everything, and really, it just follows you around. Like it's just part of what I guess it's part of life because it's with you. It's always around.
Yeah, so there must be a fair bit of tension involved in having to hang on to and keep reminding yourself and keep on doing this work. And I suspect that what you said earlier, you're on the edge of trust, where you just simply can forget all of that. You don't need to do it. It's going to be okay. It is okay.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Like that word trust just popped out because I was listening to an audiobook. It's called "The Body Keeps a Score" or whatever, and I just figured, I'm just going to listen to this. And anyway, the psychiatrist was telling a story about how he was working with veterans that had PTSD, and they were all like distrustful. You know, nobody wanted to talk or anything. And once they broke loose, they all bonded together into a cohesive unit as if they were still in the military. And they took this psychiatrist and they brought him into their unit and gave him a uniform. And when I heard that, I just busted out crying. In fact, I'm having tears are coming up right now.
Mm.
So
And does your curiosity say what is those tears coming from? Was it the inclusion, the belonging, the connection? What was it? That's what gets me every time. Yeah.
it's I think it's the it's the ability to be vulnerable and to just let everything out. You know, not have to hold up the wall. You know.
Yep. Absolutely. Beautiful.
I was asking Abad about it. What he's my buddy. I really appreciate that. Oh my God.
Good.
I probably I have I'm it's like I feel like it's right on my phone. I have like a guru who doesn't charge me a penny. Like I can ask him whatever I want, whenever I want, and the answers that come up are I can imagine like trying to never mind, but it just I cannot do that kind of inquiry on my own. Like it just is amazing to
That's
me.
good. Right.
And I was such a negative view of it in the beginning. Like I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. Anyway, thank you.
Just make sure you take it for a walk every day and give it water and food.
um,
I feel like you're on the edge of something, Scott. Do you get that feeling?
honestly, I don't know. I don't even care. Honestly, I don't like. It's like part of it
Right.
is like through the as when we're starting, we're on a path. I don't know about you, but I reach out, try to grab something, and even when you find something that's like semi-substantial, it disappears, and you kind of get to the point where why reach out anymore? Like it's almost, it just doesn't seem like it's productive.
Scott, instead of using a framework, have you tried to just kind of gauge from the ability to just be yourself as much as you can? Just that, don't have to have any tools or anything, just as soon as you can feel in your body that you're trying to protect something or you're trying to be something else than you actually are. You're trying to kind of separate yourself from what is, and then just look at that. Because this is ultimately about just being free inside your own experience.
Yeah. So in my experience, God, I can't, any word that comes out of my mouth is not going to be right. So it seems like you could just say, oh, I'm just going to let everything go, not do anything. And everything will just like, I know it's automatic and everything's I'm not going to put any effort into anything anymore. So you walk out the door, I start walking down the street, and normally, like, what happens is all of a sudden I'll realize I was lost in thought, and then just out of like a habit, I notice whether there are perceptions in my, experience. And so I try to just like, instead of like in the past, I would just lock down and start trying to anchor myself in whatever sensation there was. So I just try to like relax and let that go and not do that. But I could go, okay, when I walk out the door, I'm not gonna do anything. I can turn anything into doing. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a delicate balance of me to just try to like let go a little bit. I gotta let go just a little bit and allow it to happen a little bit. And then let go a little bit more. It's just this like all at once thing. My brain just doesn't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, but I didn't say you have to do it all at once. I said, you do it at the natural pace. The natural pace of, going out and engaging with life and noticing that there is a contraction happening in a certain situation that catches your attention. You see if you can just feel into it and soften it a little bit. If not, then you'll take it back to the lab and, investigate what's going on with that. What was that about? And then maybe the next time, you kind of have this understanding that in those kind of situations, I create separation. I protect myself for some reason. Then the more you kind of get into what's going on, eventually the system will kind of just naturally let go. There's nothing to do, just to see.
I think that's happening because I didn't realize it. Like in the beginning, when I was on the path or whatever, I used to, oh, you're not working hard enough. You're not working hard. You're not watching enough hours. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And I would completely like just feel like, so anyway, I thought that I was not doing enough. But as I look back, I spent every waking hour trying to remain present for 2 years. Makes me want to cry. Anyway, so I guess I developed, things got ingrained in the nervous system. So it's almost impossible for me to like not be aware of, oh, I was lost in thought, and be aware of the dynamics that are happening.
In those 2 years, you were trying to ground yourself in awareness. Probably wasn't a waste. Probably kind of created that space that you're now experiencing.
Right. That's true. It probably wasn't a waste. It just maybe didn't need to go on as long as it did.
Well, you can say that, but you know, it's pretty obvious that everything that ever happened to you up to this point had to happen exactly the way it did for you to be at this point. Is that obvious to you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually kind of looking forward to, because there was a lot of effort, you know. I'm looking forward looking forward. Listen to me. I'm looking forward to a little bit less. There's a lot of efforting involved with trying to do all those inquiries and everything, you know.
Yeah.
Do
And I'm
you
looking
get
forward
that
to
all of this trying to do the right thing, trying to not speak in a not awake way, using the wrong words, all of that is selfing?
Yeah, I know.
Just talk freely. You know, I'm saying that because I went through that myself. So,
Right.
but all of it's selfing. It's just trying to be not self.
Yeah. I find it hard to communicate sometimes, even without the non-dual thing. Like if there was no such thing as non-dual language, I'd still have a hard time communicating.
Ah, you do all right.
I feel the same way as you, Scott.
I don't feel like that at all until I listen to myself. And when I listen to myself, I go, Jesus, I could have done a better job of that. But I don't feel it when I'm doing it. Mm.
Gratitude to everybody. Thank you for being here, man. Unbelievable. It's great.
Thank you too, Scott. You're here too. Yeah. We should all thank ourselves for being here. It's a weird one, isn't it? Hi, Phoebe.
Scott, I am so blown away by how far you've come in 2 years. Or maybe, yeah, because were you part of Killaby Inquiries?
I know about him, but I never got into his groups or anything.
But were you in any of the meetings?
So you've probably seen me in Purnell's meetings and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But
I recognize you from.
there's been such a shift in you. It's really inspiring for me.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
I I can say about the effort because I was experiencing and still experiencing it sometimes a lot. This unease with efforting, and then somehow to see that it's always effortless, and if effort arise, it is arising effortlessly, and somehow, funny enough, it making changes in the way effort is happening, and sometimes it's just subsiding completely. Like just seeing that the effort is effortless, it's okay, it's just as it is, and somehow it's all comes down. So you don't really, it's always not about changing, it's always about nothing. You don't, it's not even accepting, it's just letting it be, like somehow, because it's perfect already.
I like that. It sounds a little bit like accepting that you can't accept. Like efforting is effortless. Yeah. Thank you.
I suppose you've got nothing to say, Dennis.
You got it in one, Vince. The thought just came into my head before you said that. I do not want to talk.
Right, that's fine. How about you, Phoebe? How's things been?
I'm trying to get to this place where creativity just happens. And I met with a master artist yesterday on Zoom for an hour, and he's a specialist in anatomy. And it was so exciting, and it's just opening up a whole new world for me. And earlier in this meeting, I was getting this impulse about, I know exactly what I want to try on this piece today. Like, I know exactly what I want to try. And it doesn't matter if it works or it doesn't work. You know, it's just, can I see it? And then can I do it? And, but from this impulse, you know, not, and so there's no fear there. There's no anxiety there. It's just, you know, let's see if I can make this work. And I have always worked from reference for 34 years. I worked from photos. But I just hired a actor model from New York City who's going to meet me at the client's headquarters on Monday, and I'm going to work with this. And this is just takes my work to a new level. And I have absolutely no idea if it's going to work or not. No idea. But this is how professionals do it. So I'm going to give this a shot. And there is anxiety about the photo shoot. There is anxiety. I'm feeling that. But in terms of just being creative today, I'm excited about that. So I'm in as good a place as I can imagine.
Mm.
Yeah.
I got an interesting thing came to mind when you said, you know what you want to do, and then you said, I'm going to have to go and try and do it. And I thought to
Well,
myself, if you know,
yeah.
isn't that all that's required?
No, or we would all be fantastic artists. No, you get the vision, you see it in your head, and
Yeah.
then you go to execute. And the execution is the pudding. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The execution is. So that's, but this vision is coming from this arising.
Yeah.
Ooh, can I hold on to that? Can I, it's just like a writer or a poet having an idea, and can they grab that? Can they grab the words and get it before it escapes? So yeah. So I'm the meeting with you and Marius the other day, really helpful. Even though I haven't listened to it again, but I'll listen to it again today while I'm doing my work. Really helpful. And Marius, I'm so grateful for your example of how to connect with anyone I feel I have a disconnection with, like, for instance, this aide. And at first I was thinking, oh, I want to give her something physical as a apology. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, oh my God, the gift is the connection. And the connection is me being vulnerable and saying, I felt so powerless. And I took it out on you, and I'm sorry. And I'm really sorry about that. And yeah, so anyway, I've just been letting that sort of ruminate in my head. Yeah. So it's amazing to me, what this group and Pernille's and Todd's group also, but just the shifts that are happening. And I think part of it is that I'm just incorporating it. Like it just, I don't know, it's not a doing so much saturation. It's just like letting it come in, and then eventually it's incorporated. And yeah, so feels great today. Tomorrow afternoon I may be in a completely different place. But right now I'm good. No, I only slept for like 2.5 hours last night. I've been up since 2:30 or 3. But I'll sleep tonight. And Declan, I relate to several things that you said. One was years when I was younger, just wanting my life to be over, just wishing my life could be over. I think all through my 20s, I think my whole 20s was really spent just wishing my life I could just check out. And then my addiction was bulimia. And from the age of 14 to 36, from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, all I thought about was, how can I eat and how can I vomit? And I did it 10 times a day for 24 years. And it helped me control my anger, my rage, my grief, my sadness. It helped me control everything. And I was really powerless to it for most of that time.
Thank you, Phoebe. I was just having a little rest to just like Vin said, that's another way of coping. It's just kind of lie down, but I just thought that's okay. But it feels a lot calmer now. But it's amazing, isn't it, when you like how much we change and you think back, you think, wow, I did that. You know, whether there's a feeling of shame or no shame, that comes to the matter. It's just you know, that was that version of me that felt like I had to, you know, take pills or take, you know, or whatever the addiction is. I like me now, kind of filling my lungs full of something that's not great. You know, and you totally believe, no, I've got to do this, right? Which is probably true in the moment, but then you move past it in whatever time is, and you just think, wow. That was another story or whatever it is. Yeah. Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you.
But it still comes up, Declan.
Yeah.
I still, this impulse to fill myself, to numb myself to, I don't even know what it's to do. It's just like I've just got to put food in me as fast as I possibly can. And then the choice, do I vomit or don't I vomit? It still comes up. You know, so yeah.
I know with food. I think that's another fear, Phoebe, is like, because I know when I stopped smoking tobacco, I did put on you know, however many pounds, and it's and that vanity thing is kind of, oh, I don't want to get fat again, whatever fat is, you know, whatever a label. But it's funny, I've noticed more and more how emotional food is. You know, and I think I'm hungry. You think you're hungry, you know, it's just this little sensation. It's like, no, I need some I need some love. I need
Yeah,
some sugar.
yeah,
I need some
yeah.
love. I need some, it's the same. It's exactly the same thing, it's almost like one's going, it's all kind of going inwards, isn't it? To squish down or to cope with whatever I think is there. It's incredible. Yeah.
And for me, it's filming. Like I need to be filled. I need to be. I need to. I need to be filled. This hollowness, this emptiness, this. So I'm getting closer and closer to being with the sensation, but I still just do it sporadically. I don't do it consistently.
Just going to switch my mic off. I think there's a wedding going on. I don't know if you can hear there's drums and pipes and all sorts of stuff.
What a beautiful way to finish up. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Vince. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.